Welcome to Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Next to me is Guy Moore, Christian Jones, Jay Beasley, and Keith Flournoy. Tammy Harris will be joining us shortly. She should be on in probably next 5 to 10 minutes. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Good, and you?
Good.
I'm doing good.
Really good.
Yeah, hey, so we just coming off the Bears starting off 3-0 in the preseason.
3-0? They ain't gonna win a game all decade. They 3-0? Okay, all right.
3-0.
Wow.
Hey, y'all got any opinions on that as far as the Bears starting out 3-0? Do preseason mean anything? What do you think, Christian? What does preseason mean as far as being 3-0?
Not really nothing, to be honest with you. But it is good to see continuity with the offensive line. So I take that as a positive. I feel like they set 5 now. So, and I think that's going to be a real positive. But you never know with preseason because a lot of teams have went 0-3 and turned out to be world beaters in the regular season, the playoffs. So you can't really take preseason with a grain of salt.
Okay. Hey, what about you, Jay Plank? Guy, what do you take on the Bears starting 3-0?
Go ahead, Jay. You go first.
Yeah, we missed Jay. Yeah, we done missed Jay.
Right.
Jay was actually he was trying to be a walk-on at Ohio State, and
hey, he made the squad.
Yeah, I'm glad your daughter got in. Got ready. That's an awesome thing, though.
Yeah, I tried, man. I'm too old, man. They got the best wide receivers in the country, man. So it wasn't doing nothing for me. But as a Bears fan, we always start off with the 85 Bears. The 85 Bears were 0-4. They was 0-4 during their preseason. They wound up going 15-1. Preseason, though, the record really don't mean a lot. But as Christian said, the continuity, and that's what I'm looking at. I see how they get in and out the huddle. He's not doing his hand like this to get the play in. The Bears had 3 games, 13 penalties. For preseason, that's pretty darn good for to say you got players who next week gonna be bagging groceries. Dallas had 17 penalties in one game. Week 2 preseason game, they had 17 penalties. So for them to come out of this with 13 penalties in 3 games with people all over the place, that's pretty good. So, the record is cool for us to say the Bears 3-0 in the preseason. But I was looking more at the stuff that's going to really matter once the regular season comes.
Okay. Plank Guy, what do y'all take on?
Well, I got you. Okay, as far as the wins in the preseason, I agree. They don't really mean a whole lot, except this is a brand new team with a lot of rookies, a lot of players who haven't established who they are and what their culture is. So you have the ability of setting your foundation, making sure you focus on your fundamentals, and you can actually do some teaching so that they know what to do when they get down in the middle of a hard game. So as much as the record doesn't mean a whole lot, the fundamentals and the things that you're trying to establish in your culture are extremely important. Hey, Tammy.
Hey.
What's
up, Tammy?
We'd like to welcome Tammy onto the broadcast. Hey, Guy, what do you take from the preseason being 3-0?
Do the records mean anything? No. Preseason, as far as preseason, no. But what it does, just like I'll piggyback on what Plank said, you got a new regime in, and what they need to do, what they see on tape or what they see on the field from the other side is completely different from actually being in the driver's seat looking there as your squad. Everybody in the NFL, whether you're getting cut or not, you got talent. But can you be taught? Are you teachable? If you're a veteran, how are you looking this year? Are you having any aches and pains? And we're changing offense and defense. How are they able to sort of adhere to what he's trying to teach? Outside of that, no, because the last time the Bears went undefeated, they were 4-0 in '94, and I think they went 9-7. And I'm not going to say who the coach was, Wannstedt. So there you have it. That's all I got.
Quick caveat. Baltimore Ravens have gone 21-0 the
23.
last 4 years.
23. It's 23-0 now.
Oh,
It's
there
23-0
you
in
go.
the preseason.
And you already know if you play them anytime in the season, you got to get ready to get hit in the mouth. So I like the culture.
And,
Yeah.
and just think, real quick, the 0-16 Lions that year, they went 0-16. They was 4-0 in preseason.
Wasn't they?
So there you go.
Hey, we got a smart group here. I always say that the group on Bears Banter is some of the smartest Bears fans out there. I'd like to welcome everybody who's watching Bears Banter tonight on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. And I don't know if Tammy, did you get a chance to watch any of the preseason games? I know you being in Atlanta is maybe not as easy to get the preseason games.
I watched the highlights. I was actually going to go back and watch the games because I found a way that I can't watch them. I just haven't had a chance to because I've been binge watching Game of Thrones with somebody because I've never watched it. So they finally sucked me in. So that's what I've been binge watching ridiculously. But I saw the highlight. I saw some of the things that they're doing. I watched some of the commentary. Like Guy and Keith said, I came in on the tail end of what Keith was saying. I mean, the preseason record doesn't really mean that much. But it is good to see that they are potentially starting to play as a team. I mean, it's hard to tell because it's preseason, you don't have other teams necessarily playing full out. You don't have their starters fully going, but you get to see how the team is working together. So it looks like it might be a more cohesive unit, but how they ultimately work together is good. You know, when the what's the expression, when the something hits the wall or whatever, I can't remember what it is, but we'll see how they work together when it counts. But I won't say if I'm optimistic yet or not. I'm not. I'm still in wait and see mode.
Okay. You know, Jalen Johnson, I'm trying to remember the exact quote that they showed it on the broadcast, and I know he said it in a couple of interviews. I think it's "Thous who runneth after the ball get good things." Something
like that. Saw that.
Oh wait, them picking up the ball. I did see that. That was a good thing. They're going after the ball, so that's a good thing to see. They seem to be a little hungry.
You know what? And good work habit breeds good things. You know, when teams hustle and do what they got to do, you create your own luck, right? Luck is opportunity meeting, whatever the phrase.
Preparation means something. When operation means something. When opportunity means preparation or something like that.
Yeah, but it's being prepared and actually making things happen. So, what I took out the preseason was what Jay mentioned about the lack of penalties. I'm looking at the team that seems a little bit, I know it's preseason, but more disciplined and paying attention to the details. I'm not seeing right now those false starts. I mean, they used to drive me crazy the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, the false starts would be to a level that's ridiculous. And we're hoping that's a habit that they could carry over into the regular season where you don't get those false starts, because that's one of the worst things for an offense. And then when you have a bad offense, you can't start off with first and 15 because you got a penalty, or you have a penalty on the kickoff that now puts you back 10 more yards, right? And some of those penalties were lack of discipline penalties across the board. So Chicago Bears beat Cleveland 21-20 in game 3. So as far as watching this game, what was y'all feelings on watching the performance of Justin Fields?
Well, wait, I got a question.
Oh, yeah,
and somebody can answer this while they answer this question, because I wasn't fully watching. Like I said, I only watched the highlights. But what I did gather from game 3, or what's clear from game 3, is they scored all their points in the first half. What happened in the second half? I haven't watched yet. But, like, what happened?
Trevor Siemian turned into the red rifle. So
you had people playing in the second half that's gonna be bagging groceries next week.
Hey, Javon Williams was bagging groceries on a different team.
I wasn't sure if that was it. I was wondering.
And then constipation set in.
So Justin Fields threw for 3 TDs in this game. He was 14 for 16 for 150 yards. He had a 146.9 passer rating. Christian, as you watch Justin play now, like I said, I know it's preseason. Does he look more comfortable? I know you was a former quarterback and still coaching quarterbacks. Do he look comfortable? What do you see as far as him in these games?
So this previous game, I felt he looked comfortable, and I watched the previous two Bears banner, and you were saying, he was being too analytical, and I feel like he is, because he can say all he wants, he feels comfortable in this offense, but this is his first year, so there's 3 offenses in 3 years from college, then Nagy, then this year. I feel like probably halfway through the season, it'd be more just reaction and him not thinking. So this game, I felt like he just had command of the game and he was just hot. Like he just felt comfortable. But I don't think he's going to be real comfortable yet in the offense because he's still learning it. So he don't know what he likes and what he don't like. I just think it's just excitement of him now being with somebody I guess he trusts, to put him in the right situations. Because last year, Nagy was asking him to do stuff that, it's just not him. That's how I looked at the game. I just felt like he was in the flow of the game. He had complete control. He was hot and just that. But as far as the offense, I don't know if he's going to be comfortable until probably like halfway through the season.
Okay. Anybody else on Justin Fields' performance in this game?
I got you.
Okay, guy.
Something I noticed about him, which is interesting, is the fact that, of course, they worked on the first thing they did, which was a godsend, and they worked on his delivery. They shortened it up. You can see the arc is much tighter. So he would already be an accurate guy, but he has a little more, I would say, more control when you throw. Is he comfortable? He looked comfortable because the line blocked pretty doggone good that first half. But like Kristen said, I think it's going to take a minute. But what I need people to understand is we all love Justin Fields. We want to see him do great. The one thing that he has in common with Jerry Rice is this. Jerry Rice was dropping a gang of balls in his first couple years. And a lot of people like, oh, he's got the talent. And it was like people like that would look like, Sunday watchers. Oh, I don't know about them. Why they waste this draft pick? And what happened to him? You said the common denominator both of them had, you could see the talent that they got. Aaron Rodgers didn't look like this in the second year. In his second year playing, guys, it takes a while because what happens is the reads that he needs to make. It's not like something like it's so much faster. You're looking at triangles. You're doing the lizard eye thing where you're trying to do like this to kind of throw off defenders. And you're trying to still make passes where they're perfect to where they're where they need to be. And you know where everyone is. It's going to take him a minute. From what I've seen, he's my opinion, he's progressed quite a bit. But I still think he's kind of shell-shocked from all them sacks, hoping that his guys hold up this year. But, give him a couple years. I think he's going to be nice.
Okay.
To that point, I'm glad that the offensive line finally got some cojones and put their quarterback on their shoulder and showed up and represented them. It makes a difference knowing that you ain't out there by yourself. Justin Fields keeps getting all of these late hits, second and third hits, and he's giving up his body, which is dangerous already. That's why they're supposed to really be looking out for that. And as a matter of fact, I don't think the officials were going to call it yesterday. The only reason they did is because of the reaction of the Bears offensive lineman.
They called Quebec.
And shots out to Lucas Patrick. They said the only reason the rest of the linemen came out there because he was ready to come off the bench and start fighting. So I was like, dude, I like him already. So
we like goons. We like goons. Yes.
Hey, let me see if I can bring in this video right quick.
Okay.
Hold on. There we go. Let's watch this, and then we go back.
So another first down for the Bears. Fields. Look at oh boy, he's got a guy wide open, and it was Cole Kmet for the touchdown.
Burnt up.
Justin Fields 3 TD tosses here in the first half.
Touchdowns here. Justin Fields buying time off the bootleg. Does a great job.
Kendall Vilder playing DB last year.
How many times have y'all seen Aaron Rodgers make that throw and the tight end wide open?
You're right.
I'm telling y'all, Luke Getsy, he gets it. He gets it. And Justin Fields, if you go back and what did he complete? What was he, 14 and 16?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you go back and look at all 14 of those passes, outside of that last touchdown, everything was a dart.
Yep.
Everything was a dart.
Yep.
Luke Getsy gets it. He know his offensive line ain't the best offensive line in the NFL. So what does he do? He gets him out on bootlegs. He gets him out on waggles. You got to cater to your quarterback's strength. So Justin Fields, to me, even though he hasn't mastered this offense, he's in the process. And I saw it in this game where he was patient enough to buy some time on that last touchdown. He was patient enough to buy some time, roll out. He started to run. Then he dropped it back. He's like, oh, my God, Cole Kmet. He's wide open. Laid it in there. So I like this performance. And if you go back and look at those 14 completions, every last one of them was a dart outside of that lob that he just threw to Cole Kmet.
Yeah, some of those comeback routes, those were some real nice throws. I mean, I know people would say, "Hey, that wasn't the first string, the DB," but that ain't as important as him throwing the ball on time and the precision of him and his receivers working together, where you could throw that back shoulder fade or the receiver coming back. And those darts was, I mean, he threw some nice darts in that game. Like I say, he was 14-16, so it was only 2 passes that he incompleted in that game. Planker, like you was about to say something.
Real quick. That touchdown pass to Dante Pettis, don't tell me that wasn't no starter. That was Greedy Williams he beat. And that was a dart. That was Greedy Williams, who's the first round draft pick, who's the starter for the Cleveland Browns. So, I like Luke Getsy. He gets it. Gets it.
Bernard, as a matter of fact, I was going to say something. So all of his passes, I'm going to disagree with you just slightly. Jay, all of his passes weren't a dart. As a matter of fact, he had at least one pass that he actually just went right over the linebacker's head. And I had to replay it 4 or 5 times. Like, did he have touch on this? So he looked really good. Everything wasn't 100 miles an hour. He showed some touch. He even did one of those Patrick Mahomes look away passes to a wide receiver that was sitting on the sideline. So he actually had a good command of the entire game. And all of that, you wasn't playing against the starters. Hey, you beat up the people that they sent out there.
Right.
Right.
Hey,
you know what else?
I want to share something with y'all as far as, hold on, here's a quote from a story. Hold on, put my glasses on so I can see this. This from Mike Marks. It says, hold on. Then there was Chicago Justin Fields. Fields is a guy that makes a lot of mistakes and is not particularly accurate at times. He's not a quick read and react guy. He's on a horrendous team. But I don't know if I've seen an offense that bad in talent since the 0-16 Detroit Lions. They just don't have anybody there. It's a bad football team right now. That's Mike Marks.
Wasn't that the team he coached?
Wait a minute. Did he coach 1 year and didn't he come up with the greatest show on turf and the Bears were only like the 17th best offense in the league under him? You supposed to be Mr. Guru like Eric Coryell. But the thing is, it's almost like the pot calling the kettle black. I don't know if he auditioned for a job, but him, I don't want to say no more because we got people watching. I get potty mouth.
When did you make that comment?
A couple of days ago.
Like a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was about 5 days ago.
This was the
an
same
article where he was rating different NFL teams. And this is what
Isn't
he
that
had
the
to say
same
about
guy
the
that
Bears.
had no use for a Hall of Fame worthy tight end?
Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth. Enough said. like I told y'all, I don't know if y'all saw it on Facebook, but I remember in the game where he called a audible, and Jay Cutler, you heard it. I heard it loud and clear.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it
Flip-flop
because
slim.
I'm not gonna say it because we're live broadcasting. But the same thing Jay Cutler said to Mike Mark, that's the same thing I feel. So I'm done with it.
He said the truck is
It
blue.
means absolutely nothing. It
He
means
said
absolutely,
truck is blue, Marks.
his opinion means absolutely nothing.
But you didn't like Greg Olson, huh?
Yeah, see,
But
a
I mean,
lot of
everybody-
people a lot of people when they think about Greg Olson, they mistakenly start saying, "Oh, the Bears got rid of him because they was being cheap." No, they actually got rid of him. What y'all said when Mike Morris came here, he wanted a blocking tight end. And Greg Olson wasn't a blocking tight end, and that was one of the things that pissed Jay Cutler off too, because Greg Olson was his guy, and he traded him because he's like, I need a blocking tight end.
Because he brought in, he had them to sign, what's his name, Brandon out of Malu or something like that.
Yes,
You remember that? Yeah. Yeah.
But when you go on the Madden team, but if you look on the Madden team playbook, that year, it's like the Bears is scratched out, and Jake Cutler, whatever he want to do, is like written in crayon. So he pretty much did his own offense.
He said, "I'm not calling that plays."
So Mike Mark's opinion means absolutely nothing.
They wonder why he don't have a job now, and if they happen to do pretty good, then he's gonna go back into oblivion and say, "Yeah, well, I coached the Rams."
No, I'm not one. I'm pretty sure why he don't have a job. He sucks.
Right. Right.
Yeah, to put it lightly.
And he got a problem, he can meet me at my house. I'll be waiting outside on the front lawn.
Not if I trip him first.
Because I tell people, it's easy to coach Kurt Warner and Torrey Holden.
Isaac Bruce. Come on now.
Marshall Falk.
That's easy. That's easy. That's just like coaching Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. Cut it out, man.
He didn't even coach that team. That dude was out there checking his lottery numbers for 4 quarters.
Yeah, because after a while, once teams figure out what they was doing, I know he wasn't even let Warner. One of the things he would do is he did not let his quarterbacks audible. So after a while, teams figured out what they were doing and they were in the play. Kurt Warner was actually shell shocked for a few years after that. He left the Rams. He literally, I was shocked when he was able to turn it around when he ended up being at Phoenix.
That was at Phoenix, yeah.
Right, because you remember he went to the Giants before he went to Arizona. He went to the Giants,
and he was trying to go to the Bears, and they turned him down.
Well,
oh, now you know what? Warner actually told that story. This is an interesting story with Warner. Warner actually has the workout set up, and when they call him, he was getting married. So he asked them, could they set it up the next week? So the Bears called him the following week, I believe, to have a workout for him. And he said, man, I didn't know my wife we had a honeymoon. And so they was like, okay. Then they called him the following week, and I think he got sick or something. And so he was like, man, I just missed my opportunity. He figured the Bears was tired of him, right? Because he had excused 3 straight weeks. Then it happened to be the Rams called him after that, and the Rams signed him. But so it was just one of those things that I guess it worked out for him in a way where by no fault of his own, the Bears ended up not. Yeah.
No, he hired Mike Morris as a clown for that wedding. He was scaring all the kids. He said, no, I don't want no parts of that.
Hey, man, I'm scared of clowns, too. Forget that.
That really was the other coach's team. I can't think of his name. That really wasn't Mike Morris.
Vermeil?
Dick Vermeil, wasn't it?
It was
Dick Vermeil.
Dick Vermeil. Yeah, that was his team, Dick Vermeil's team.
And just Green.
He retired or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Kurt Warner had a chance to come to the Bears after he had already won the Super Bowl for the Rams. And for whatever reason, the Bears were like, we think he washed up, and he ended up going to the Giants and still playing for another Super Bowl. So don't get me started about the Bears and quarterbacks. So
but
hey, you know what?
He actually sucked at the Giants, but he did well in Phoenix. At the Giants, he was shell shocked because he had got hit so many times. Because on the Mike Marks offense, he was the most hit quarterback in the league.
You know what I will say though, man, real quick, and Mike March, you poop butt. But what I do like about what Luke Getsy is doing is he has it right, man. What I didn't like about, well, there's a lot of things I didn't like about Nagy. The difference between Getsy and Nagy in that respect is this. Getsy goes in and says, okay, I have a playbook. This is what I want to do. Let me see what you can do. Okay, here's your strengths. Here's your weaknesses. Okay, you're kind of up right here. We're going to put extra tight end right here for you. And this is where we're going to run. We're going to play to your strengths, and we are going to mask your weaknesses. Nagy's like, yeah, you got this, you got this. But this play is going to work because I know it's going to work. You know, I like the way that they're structured around that. He's actually having a conversation with Justin. Of course, he's teaching. But when you look at the offense, that's why I was talking about a lot of people kind of look at the comfort level. I think it's really less of the comfort level and more so that Getsy's game plan is structured around his strengths. And it kind of makes it a little easier when you're doing something that's familiar to you, you know. So that's all I got.
It's that in on a sophisticated level. A lot of what Nagy did last year didn't really like make sense. So like when he would go into like boot action or play action, he would do it on run plays that they never ran in the game. So if you never ran power, why would you try to run a play action off of power? These NFL linebackers in the game, they're gonna see that. Defensive coordinators gonna see that with this system, which I was kind of like, I was really curious of if Luke Getsy was going to really like run the offense that they, you know, say that he was going to run, which is that Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan offense. And it's kind of looking like it. Like all of his run actions are the same off the boots. Mm-hmm. So like it's real hard to tell if it's going to be a run or a pass. So this last preseason game, I was like, okay, yeah, he really is gonna run this system because a lot of the stuff that he was running is what you see San Francisco, the Browns, Green Bay, the Rams run. And if we can just get Justin to be like step over Jared Goff just this 1 year. I'm not saying he's Jared Goff, but no, seriously though, Jared Goff, those 2 years got him to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying he's going to be that, but I'm just saying if he can just get that 1 year to where he can do that and then look like a world beater next year, that'll be amazing. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying look like Jared Goff because Jared Goff is, you see how he is with the Rams, but you saw how he was, with Detroit, but you saw how he was with the Rams.
He had Hurley with him.
Yeah, that run game really helped him out, really covered all of his weaknesses. Mm-hmm. Justin can play. He don't have really any weaknesses, but to get him to get comfortable in his offense, if he can just look like that for his first year, that's going to be real nice when he really get comfortable. It's going to be real nice. It's going to be real nice.
How many times did I say last year and the year before, all Matt Nagy did was threw darts at the wall. He never had plays that was married to each other. Well, I'm going to run this play, and then I'm going to run a play action with the same play that makes you look like it's going to be this play, but it's going to be a pass. He never got that. And like I say, that's going to be my whole thing for this year. Getsy gets it. Getsy gets it. If you look at his play calling is married. His run plays are married to the pass plays. And it shows. And if he can continue to do that throughout the season, Justin is going to be successful.
Yeah.
But we'll say for reason,
offense is in trouble when a coach says, "Look, he just had to run the plays I call. We make no changes from quarterback to quarterback." That's stupidity, actually. Unless both of those guys have similar qualities, you don't change for the person you have. I compare it to raising children. All your children are different, so you adjust to the personality that they have. Mm-hmm. You know, you may have some similar things that you do. So even go to the Cleveland game last year, when he had in the Cleveland game, it's like you're not going to adjust to the quarterback and his knowledge of the game. You just like, well, he just got to figure it out. No, he doesn't have enough information to
it's
figure
not even
it out. So,
just about Justin to the quarterback. It's putting the team first. Last year, we was averaging close to 5 yards a pop running the ball.
Yes.
So you jeopardize your team because you want to throw the ball because your system is we throw to open up the run.
No,
This
they
ain't
so
Kansas
sensitive to
City.
ego.
Yeah, this ain't Kansas City. Like, you got to run the ball. You got to keep running the ball because that's what we do. That's what we good at. But when you're a coach and you so into I want to win my way, like Jay said, ego. Like,
It's
so
just
that
ego.
was just, like you said, stupidity. I don't understand that. We could have won a lot more games last year had we ran the ball. I'm still sticking to it.
Hey,
There's a
can we
couple of
come up with
games.
something new? Can we come up with something now for a while and not say the jet sweep no more? Just say the Cordell Patterson play? Because I don't care what nobody say. You could have somebody that didn't even watch football, was probably an expert in Legos. They'd be like, I don't understand football. Oh, that guy back there, 84. Oh, they're going to run a jet sweep. And they did. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, Tammy, did you some of the highlights? Did you see any of the runs by Montgomery this weekend?
I did, yeah. But you know I love Montgomery, so I thought the running looked good. It looked clean. It looked strong. Like they weren't scared to run the ball. And I mean, I agree with Christian. 100%. Had we ran the ball more, we would have won more games. And if you had more effective play calling, we would have won more games. In my opinion, it wasn't that the team was so terrible. I think the Bears have a history of having good players, and we have good players that we don't use in the right way. And I actually was having a conversation with my trainer today about that. He's not a Bears fan, but he's a Patriots fan.
Boo.
But
Okay, sorry.
but either way, he was saying he likes to watch Chicago. He said. When Chicago plays well, he's like they're a good team to watch. They're a fun team to watch, and he thinks that the league is better when Chicago is competitive.
I agree.
And I just want to say that what Lavelle said and what Talib said that you put up, they were 100% right too. I mean, it was Nagy was inflexible. He did not want to adjust. And then Bernard, you echoed what they said, but I wanted to point out like that you showed their comments. They said the same thing. That was of the problem.
Because what was always puzzling, and I hate to harp on last year, but we don't have enough, we won't have any real games this year yet. But David Montgomery could break a long run the first play of the game. Now, this what was the weird thing last year. It was quite a few games. The first play pop. Then after that, they would pass sometimes and back themselves out of field goal range because he chose to hold on. He just broke 40 yards. Run it again, right? If he needs some oxygen, you get on the sideline. But he would start passing. And then being a narcissist he would go to the press conference and he would almost act like somebody else was calling plays. He would say, we should have probably ran more, right? Right. He said like that, right? Like he's asking a question to the reporters. Like he just ran enough sometimes to just satisfy. Like, we ran the ball about 15 times. That was enough, right? Like, you calling the plays. What are you talking about?
I still say if anybody want to talk about that, you just watch the last game of last year. That dude showed himself in that final game last year as a play caller. Oh, he showed himself real well. And I was like, yep, do it. Because this is the last time you're going to call plays for anybody. So go ahead, just do it. Just do whatever you want to do. And that's exactly what he did. So I'm just really optimistic about this coaching staff. To get on another subject, I'm really optimistic about this coaching staff because I like how Eberflus, I call him like the CEO. He like the CEO. Although he was a defensive coordinator, he hired a defensive coordinator. He ain't gonna say I had the 5th best defense in the NFL last year, so I should call the plays. No, I'm gonna regulate that duty to my defensive coordinator. I'm going to pay attention to being the head coach.
You tripping.
You're exactly right. He left on his own terms. But yeah, and I like that, and I like that about Eberflus. He's regulating his duties, and like I said, I see a lot of structure and a lot of discipline on his team. Although it was preseason, normally see a lot of penalties during preseason, but the Bears have not had a lot of penalties in 3 games. Like I said, 13 penalties in 3 games. For the say you got guys that ain't gonna even be playing next week, I think that's pretty good. And to me, that just shows this.
You know what I like when we looked at that one touchdown we showed on video. I like in the preseason there has been some use of Cole Kmet. And I know it was a preseason touchdown, but when you watch preseason, guys are just as excited about getting a touchdown as they are in the regular season.
Especially when you didn't have one in the regular season.
That's the point I was gonna make.
Yeah. It's almost like he caught the ball.
He had one since 2021. But that's a problem there within itself. How does a tight end like him go a whole 16 games? I can't remember how many games he played in, but he didn't get any touchdowns last year.
Easy.
So that was an indictment of coaching as well. What you got, Jay?
Go for it, Jay.
Right. You said let's coach it. Right, because when they get the red zone on 1st and 5, they go 5 wide because that's what now you want to do. Now you want to throw the ball. And his tight end wasn't involved in that. You know, so that's why. So, yeah, I saw the excitement that he had catching the preseason touchdown because he didn't get one all last year. So, hopefully that's going to change this year, though.
Yeah, okay. Hey, we would like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching us on Facebook, go to YouTube and hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Hey, let's move forward into talking about the offensive line. I mean, what did you see in the offensive line, Plank?
Oh, I saw some nastiness in the offensive line. One more time about Jones. Whoever Jones is, he's a rookie. He ain't really that good. But you don't hear his name, which means he's doing a really good job playing that left tackle. So I like him already. Whitehair, he's serviceable, so he kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but he's doing his job. They made Mustafa look like he could actually play, and that's extremely hard to do. Think about it. He's in the middle of the line. We know he's not physically strong enough to stop people at the point of contact, but yet he's serviceable. He's out there, and he's actually doing some more mental things as far as the line is going. Tevin Jenkins, there's a couple rumors talking about the Bears are still talking about trying to trade him. I hope they're not that dumb. This dude is physical. He reminds me a lot of Kyle Long, and he brings a presence to the Chicago Bears. You absolutely need somebody like that on your team. So as long as everybody else knows why he's out there, you are not going to push us around. So I'm pretty happy about the offensive line. Larry Borum's doing a decent job as well. He actually had a couple of pressures that he came up early, but by the rest of the game he settled in. He's looking pretty good.
Okay. Hey, I know Guy had some notes that he wanted to share that he took on the offensive line. You want to share those notes, Guy?
Well, you know what? I think a lot of times what happens is people get very excited about what they see, and they're like, oh, he doesn't do this, do that. I remember one guy at my job was talking about, you talking about your boy Tevin, he got beat. I said, go back and look at the tape. He didn't get beat. Guy stepped on his foot. Number one. Number two, he turned the guy. Even when he stepped on the guy's foot and was a second behind, he had the mindset to turn this guy off, and it wasn't his fault. Another thing about Tevin that tripped me out was you had like I want to say it was a nickel. Whoever number 28 was with Cleveland. He just sitting right there just waiting like, yeah, they're going to block them dudes. I'm coming up the middle. Him and Larry Bourne were on 94, and all of a sudden I see Tevin Jenkins stick his arm out like that and turn that dude and run and take 28 out. Hit the second level and run. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I started watching him, and the next thing I know, he got a pancake. I looked at that dude. I think a lot of times what people miss is my personal feeling. I think the best thing that ever happened for Tevin Jenkins is moving to guard. In my opinion, I could be wrong. When you're a guard, it's not about short hands because the thrust is immediate. It's not like a tackle where you have a little second. And probably having longer arms gives you a chance to get a head start. But where he is, the contact is immediate, but what I'm seeing him doing is little nuances like catching guys under and turn them this way, or getting guys imposing his will on people. And then once he's imposing, the play is almost over, just enough, let you go and go off. I'm telling you, this is one guy. I'm gonna show the guys, but I'm gonna post a link to what I saw. This guy was showing the offensive line, and I saw some stuff on Tevin Jenkins. But after I looked at this tape, I was like, wow. So our line is not as bad. It's nowhere near like it was last year. But I think they're a lot better than people think they are. Are they Pro Bowl Hall of Famers? No, I don't think so. I think they're very serviceable. But the interesting part about it all is the fact that having a Coach Flus who has this thing like, number one, no penalties, keep your head in the game. Number two, we go on and run a play, we run the play. No standing around talking about what y'all gonna do. Y'all smoking cigars and nothing like that. And that's another thing. They're actually really doing really good with the clock. But I'm telling you, offensive line, if you guys just took a look and just watching the trenches and just forget everything else, if you rewind and look and see what's happening there, you see what I'm talking about.
Okay. Hey, we gonna. I mean, y'all can comment on the offensive line. We gonna move. Make sure we bring some defense in this conversation. I know some of the defensive players. I know some of the players did not play on defense, but we could still kind of talk about what we've seen defensively preseason. I just want to make one comment before we go to the defense. They need to. Justin Fields needs to work on that slide. Those penalties are real penalties, but when he slides, he scares me to death. The way he slides, it looks so awkward when he's sliding because it almost looked like a baseball slide. Of you sliding into second, and it almost looked like he's about to pop up at the end of the slide, which it just looks awkward. You know, that's no reason to justify the penalty of them hitting him. Why he's sliding, but his slide just looked awkward, almost like he's going to hurt himself the way he slides.
Right.
Guy, with you being a baseball player, I mean, does it look like a baseball slide to you? Or
it's almost like a pop-up. But see, the thing is, what he has to understand, and we like old school, it's like sometimes as a young player, you may not get those same calls. And it ain't always necessary that you're a younger player, but a lot of times it has to do with it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. Sometimes they don't give you the things. I mean, you see, but what I did like is the fact that I saw Cole Kmet was one of the first dudes there. That's your tight end. The guy that, you know, they don't throw the ball. People used to didn't throw the ball to. I don't like it. You know, but then too, you could say that, but then if you look around the league, there are other quarterbacks doing the same thing and then not getting hit. So if it's more so because honestly speaking, I mean, he's technically not a rookie, but he kind of sort of is as far as the number of snaps and reps that he has. And sometimes with the referees, I think, not that I'm dogging referees out, but sometimes, you know what they have to go on is they have to go on a muscle memory. Like, okay, 15. If I've got red jersey 15 win Kansas City, that's Mahomes. And if he does the same thing and if you much as sneeze on him, it's a flag. So I think he's going to get those calls. But even if he slides all the way, if he lays down, I mean, I don't know. I do agree with what you're saying though. But to be honest with you, I've seen other quarterbacks do it, and the difference being is I've seen guys have had more tenure that it doesn't happen to. So I think it's gonna work itself. I just hope they don't clean this clock though.
Christian, what you had looked like he's about to say something.
Oh no, I didn't have anything to say.
Okay. Hey, any comments on the defense? Anybody want to talk about the defense? What they seen in the secondary from the linebacker play, defensive line?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Jack Sanborn from Lake Zurich High School is a tackling machine.
Yes,
he reminds me a lot of what was that guy 44 was a linebacker. I can't. Kwiatkowski. Right.
Yeah, Kwiatkowski.
So he's just a fundamental player. All he wants to do is hit you. He doesn't have a lot of speed. He's not especially strong, but he's always in position to make plays. I hope by the end of the year, he's in the starting linebacker position. I think Roquan Smith has done himself a disservice this entire offseason, whatever it is that he was trying to do. And especially with this last game, he still came up talking about he had some tightness or whatever. I see him being a problem the entire year. And I hope he gets his situation together so we can actually play for the Chicago Bears as opposed to playing for himself.
Hey, can I piggyback on Jack Sanborn? Here's the deal. I'm looking at his stats right now. He had 3 tackles with 2 solos, and a lot of people take that and look like, oh, yeah, you talking about your boy Jack. What'd he do? What'd he do? I tell you what he did. If you go back and look when he was in the game, probably 90% of the plays, when there was a tackle or something, he was there. That's all you can ask for. The guy wants to play. He's that dude. He might not be the fastest guy. He might not be the best guy strong, but you know what? Hustle in my mind is better than muscle. If I'm a player and I look at the guy and I already know that he's now on the same talent level, but he giving 160% every time, that's the dude you want on your squad. So I like 57, man. I like him.
He has people in the mouth, so you know I like him.
Yeah.
I actually would have never thought that this secondary is probably going to be the strength of this defense, because I'm gonna tell you, they got some ball hogs. They got some ball hogs. Kendall Vildor, I don't know if he just had a bad season last year, but this last game, again, when he played, he was actually around the ball, and that's what I like about this defense. Everybody is around the football. When they make a tackle, you see 4, 5 blue jerseys around the football, and that creates turnovers. And when you create turnovers, you create a short field. When you create a short field, you score. So this defense, I think, if they can get a pass rush, I think this defense is going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty good.
I promise I won't say that name that I called him last year, because I had to sit down and look at him. I won't, but you know what? What I will say, in all honesty, as I look back at it, and I got to give him and Eddie Jackson a chance to show me what you can do. But it's psychologically, it's a little bit different when you're sitting in the backfield and everybody knows what their job is and they do their job. And as a guy who sort of maybe sometimes feel like they got to play Captain Save them, though, and they may think that they're helping somebody else out when they're hurting themselves. But like I said, I'm not going to call him a name until he gives me a reason to. Right now, Mr. Kendall Vildor is doing okay. We'll see.
Eddie Jackson is still stealing money. I keep telling everybody, $10 million a year, he's stealing money.
I agree with Talib.
You said what?
Oh, this comment.
What about Roquan?
I disagree with Talib. And the only reason I disagree with Talib, you talked about that Roquan's a professional. He just wants to get paid. How many times have you heard that he wants to get played? If you're a professional, you go out there and you do what David Montgomery's doing. You haven't heard about his contract. He's just out there playing, doing whatever. Every other sentence is Roquan Smith. I ain't get my contract. They disrespect me. Oh, they messing me up. At some point, you need to shut up and play. He has not played in a 4-3 defense. We don't know what he's actually going to bring to bear. And until he does, he needs to be quiet and just go out there and show me.
So was Matt Forte not a professional when he asked for his money?
He was in his 10th year trying to get paid as the highest player. So, no,
he
it was
wasn't
time
in
for Matt Forte to
He
go.
wasn't in his 10th year when he started trying to get paid.
Yeah.
My thing about the Roquan situation. My thing about the Roquan situation is, I feel like he's justified for acting. He just went about it the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely.
He just went about it the wrong way. You know, you don't do this coming into training camp. You should have been making noise about this in February, March, April.
It was April. But it was.
You go through OTAs, but we didn't hear anything about it. Okay,
right.
Now they say, well, we've been negotiating since April. How many guys got a contract this year? Look at Deebo Samuel. He stripped his whole social media like, okay, you know what? I want a contract. Look at the little guy in Phoenix who ain't even worthy of $230 million. What'd he do? He got his contract. They didn't wait the training camp to do it. He just went about it the wrong way.
I don't know. I can't say
and
that.
And he's his own agent. That was a terrible move.
I can't say that though. I mean, here's my thing. Brian Pose was asked in his press conference when he got, and y'all can go back and watch it. They asked him about Roquan Smith, and he said, "We're gonna take care of our guys." All right.
Okay.
You say it on television, you know Roquan watching. All right. You go look at Roquan Smith. He's been doing what stuff that Ray Lewis was doing, and we all know what Ray Lewis was. All right. We all know that. So here we are. we ain't seeing guys getting paid. The safety from the Chargers just got paid the highest paid safety in all
Derrick
the NFL, and he's not even top 5. When you go look at his stats, he's not even top 5. So when it comes down to it, Roquan should be paid the highest linebacker because next year somebody gonna get paid more than him. And then when you look at it 5 years from now, that contract that Roquan got is gonna be like a deal. Like you're gonna be looking at it and being like, dang, you know, that one was we got he got cheaped on that one big time. So I feel like Roquan is doing his business. He go out there
every
and he
year.
blow out his knee.
No.
He go out
Every
and blow out
year.
his knee. Then what?
Have
Every
you
year
ever
somebody-
heard that
that's not
a
right.
lawyer that represents himself in court has a fool for a client? So I don't disagree with him wanting to get his money or needing to get his money. To Jay's point, the way he went about it was
That's
asinine.
my thing.
Well, who are we to
That's
say
my
like
thing.
he don't know what he doing? Like who are we to say
We
like
not.
he
Look,
doesn't
hold
know?
on, hold on. Let me explain it to you this way.
He might know what he's doing.
I can't spend 8 hours at work and then do another 8 hours of work at the same time. I'm either going to be on the field doing what I need to do, or I'm going to be negotiating for my behalf. Because he's out there on the field playing, he's not able to be his own agent and speak towards what he needs.
Because
But you know what?
Christian,
Hey,
guess what?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Because Christian, guess what? If he did know what he was doing, he'll probably have a contract by now.
No, but you know what? Hey, I'm gonna say that. And you know what? I want to
You know
piggyback
the
off
thing
that
about
real quick.
contracts are so you know, it's a tricky conversation because when people kind of argue about them not paying him, it's not as simple as that. There was like language that was hangups more than the dollar amount, right?
All
So,
the de-escalated.
what people
De-escalated,
actually
right.
say, a lot of
It was back.
negotiation. We Bears fans, we'll just say Bears being cheap. But the Bears, actually, when you look at it, some of the hang-up was how is the contract written out, right? Is it back-loaded, front-loaded? Those are the stuff where it really does get hung up, where an agent may be more familiar with that territory to be able to get you through that part. Because, you know, I'll use an example as going to buy a car. Those salesmen sell cars every day. You probably do that every 4 or 5 years. Who do you think has the advantage? The person who does it every day. The Bears do this with every player on the team. This is your one time doing it. So when that language started getting tricky, right? Because if we go back to, and there's no slant on how great of a player he is or nothing. His rookie year, he had a holdout because he thought
Because the language in his contract.
the language in his contract. He was holding out because he thought the helmet rule was going to make him lose money because he didn't understand the helmet rule. So he actually sat out and lost time because he was arguing about something that he didn't understand. That eventually his agent had to make it clear to him. But that doesn't question his intelligence. It just shows how language could be so tricky when you're dealing with contracts, and it kind of get the person stagnated where they at. What was you about to say, Plank?
Let's let Guy go. Well, you know what? My whole problem with Roquan Smith is that whole thing. With he's always the one that wants to kind of play lawyer and play football player. You're not gonna be great at both. I mean, that's just how it is. I can do my job, but I can't do my job and Tammy's job and Bernard's job and Jay's job.
But there's different. You putting yourself at jeopardy, and you will never be able to get this. He's a linebacker. He's not a quarterback. So this is
not an
this
agent.
is
Linebacker,
one time
right?
gonna get paid though. So if he feels he can represent himself and he feels like he can do that, who are we to say that he can't? That's all I'm saying.
But here's my own thing.
What was his outcome? That's what says that he can't.
Let me run something real quick.
Somebody else gonna pay him though. If we don't,
one.
That's all I can say.
Exactly.
Here's my one number. Here's my whole thing. Let me put this out here real quick. Rule number one. Everybody know how I am. I ain't never in another man's bag. Let's remove the whole football as far as the talent issue. We already know what Roquan is. We know how talented he is. People can dispute this, that, or the other. But I'm going to tell you the only problem, and I get into this thing where people were talking about, oh, well, you can't tell that man how to spend his money. You know what? If he don't need an agent, he don't need an agent. I got you on that. But by the same token, having an agent gives you leverage, because this is what a team does and what they did. In April, Roquan's like, hey, you know, I want to get a new contract, such and such. Like, okay, we cool. Because they knew what they were doing. So Roquan goes on. Now the preseason comes, and you start hearing all this stuff. If I'm Roquan Smith, this is what I do. I understand what people trying to cut out this 2-3%, but the 2% with an agent gives you leverage. Why does it give you leverage? Because any agent that is registered with the National Football League Players Association can do this. You don't like your contract? Send your agent out to talk to different teams. If what I checked, Jerry Jones would have paid that money for him and would have made it a little more guaranteed. So now you got something that you could bring back to the Bears. Like, look, I've been talking to y'all since April. Y'all don't want to do nothing. My coach got a deal ready to go in place, and Jerry Jones got a pen ready. So now the Bears are like, okay, well, we do value such and such. Now you kind of force them into an impasse. As far as the playing part and stuff, I get what people are saying. All I'm saying is, when you're negotiating your own contract with a team, you don't need an agent. You want someone who knows the languages and the metes and bounds of contracts. But if you're in a situation like this where you feel like you're getting a contract that's all back end heavy and you don't like it, if you have an agent that can go out and talk to other teams, now you got something with them. Because the first thing they will say to him, Roquan basically say to him was like, okay, go find me another deal. He can't find another deal. They said, I don't mean no disrespect, but he got Bishop Magic Don Juan kind of guy talking, and as soon as he calling, they like hanging up the phone because it's tampering. That's all I got.
Hey, so as far as the defense, what else did y'all see of the defense as far as linebacker play? I know Jay mentioned as far as defensive back play. Do you got any? How the rookies looking?
Kyler looks good, and Jaquan, he looks like he, if he brings it like he's been bringing it, I like where this young man is going. He's always in a good position. He's hawking the ball, and everybody on offense knows where he is, which is one of those rare states, rare things to happen. And Felicia, thank you. I do agree. You need an attorney if you're going to do anything court related. Trust me.
I believe Felicia is I hope I say this right. 6 Sigma black belt. Is that correct?
She's a 6 Sigma. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's a 6 Sigma black belt. Somebody had a comment with the secondary. I'm kind of struggling with my reading. What did I say?
Jaquan Brisker is going to make Eddie Jackson a Pro Bowler again. Y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here first.
But I think Jaquan Brisker go probably him and my guy, they both gonna probably be in the doggone Pro Bowl together. Tell your boy Eddie, hey, your boy artist formerly known or not known is only known as Lamar, shines you out as the best Jackson on y'all squad. So better get with it, bro. But look, I stopped on Devontae Harris had 6 tackles, 6 solo. Dan Cruikshank had 5 total with 5 solos. Lamar Jackson, 5 total, 4 solos. But what I like, and Kendall Vildor, 4 totals with 3 solos. But this Kyler Gordon kid is like, he remind me of like Steph Curry of football. He just be out there so happy, like, ooh, I'm just so happy. I love that, man. I mean, I'm just excited to see, but I think that your boy Eddie better get on this thing.
Hey, and I'm glad we got the punter Gill as opposed to Ariza, because that would have been really.
We'll say that for another show. We'll say that for another show. Say that for another show. Say that for another show. Man.
Well, we just talked about Gill. I'm glad the Gill's on our team. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Because that whole matter reason thing. If y'all didn't read that affidavit, oh my God,
it ain't nothing nice.
Oh, okay.
We'll say that for another show.
We'll talk about it after. Okay.
Oh, buddy boy, man, oh man.
So do y'all feel the players, are they really buying into this hits thing?
Absolutely.
Or is this one of the things that becomes
Absolutely. You could tell just by just by their aggressiveness on defense. Everybody is around the football. Everybody on defense is around the football. And that comes from coaching and discipline. And I'm gonna
Yep.
tell you, that coaching and discipline can actually win you a couple of games that you ain't supposed to win. And I'm gonna hold that prediction for next week. But I'm gonna tell you, coaching and discipline will get you some wins that you're not supposed to get. That's
Hey,
all I'm
But I
what's
saying.
up,
just make
Mo?
a caveat
I'm
real
gonna
quick.
bring Mo on the show in a
Caveat.
few weeks.
I got a caveat. It's got to do with defense, but not this Bears team. And Plank can co-sign for it. One of our boys, our beloved brother, Emerson Bowie Jr., retired.
Shazam! All right.
So we up in the spot, right? So I'm sitting up there. I'm driving down the street. All of a sudden, I look up. I was like, there's Peanut Tillman. I'm like, oh, man. I was like, hey. He was like, hey, park my car, get up in there. And I'm like, wait a minute. He's probably coming here. I'm going to tell y'all, I love Peanut Tillman. That's my guy. And not too many people make me nervous, but when I saw him, I got nervous. Dude is a legit 6'2". He looked like if you gave him a Bears uniform and a helmet right now, not only would he play, he would be starting. And it's like it's more prolific when you see a guy like that. He's an imposing figure, and to think he was a cornerback,
Yeah.
amazing.
I don't even think he need a helmet.
No, he don't. He got them nice, you know, he got them dreads, man. He's gonna go big up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question I've been
Good question.
struggling with, y'all. Who
Good
deserves the
question.
I
roster
want to
That's a
answer
spot
this
good
more?
question
point.
right here.
Good question. Good
Good
question.
question.
Good question. I think Isaiah Coulter deserves that spot because I think to kill him, they're gonna put him on IR anyway.
Yeah.
They're gonna put him on IR anyway. So I do think Isaiah Coulter deserves the spot. That's a good question, Notorious.
That's an excellent question.
Absolutely.
That is
Look, I
basically,
think Nikhil Henry is better as a run blocker, but we haven't seen what he's bringing to the field as a receiver. So
And
we've
Coulter has
seen
continued-
what Isaiah Coulter
Right.
has done.
He has continued to make plays throughout the entire preseason.
There you go.
Right.
You're right.
Even when he was elevated from the practice squad last year, he made a couple of plays late in the season. So I think they should give him a chance, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
You're right. Nikhil
Okay.
Henry's
So
hurt
we're
anyway.
We're gonna
He can't
wrap
play
up
till
in a few
October.
minutes, and
Okay.
Christian actually.
You
Is that
cut
right?
off,
Okay.
Bernard. I didn't hear what you were
Yeah,
saying.
we're gonna wrap up in a few minutes. We're gonna have Christian back on here. Oh, you can't. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
now we-
Okay. I know some of us we got a delay going on a little bit. Christian's going to come back on here maybe a few days whenever he send me the video, and Christian's going to do a football one-on-one on quarterbacking and share some of his knowledge, and he's going to do some critique of what he's seen as far as Justin Fields from last year to this year. And there's a whole lot of things, you know, at quarterback that other quarterbacks, you know, notice, you know, kind of like all us was athletes, and sometimes we watch the person who played our position a little bit more than we might watch other players. You know, I know of me as a former running back. I mean, I see holes and I'm like, oh man, you ran through the wrong hole. You know, didn't you see that? Like, why did you just run right into him? Right? That's the kind of stuff with Jay. We was talking offline about watching the game. That's the kind of stuff I do. Like, man, look at him. Why he last 15 yards, but it should have been 20 if he'd have cut in the right hole. So that's one of the things with that. But we're gonna come back with Christian. And one of the things, another thing I was thinking about this year when we had Eric Armstrong on, is adding a scouting segment to Bears Banter. And maybe it just may be a monthly segment, and it'll be after Saturday football games, or where you know, the people who are adverse college football watchers, you know, maybe like Jay, I believe Christian is. I know Eric Armstrong, who was on here a few weeks, is, and one of my coworkers, Matt, we talked about it. Matt, like, he started watching college football from the time he wake up in the morning and probably till he go to bed. So I think that scouting segment will be something a little bit interesting that we may add, like, here and there throughout this season.
I just want to tell y'all right now, real quick. If y'all don't watch college football this Saturday coming up, y'all ain't gonna watch no college football for the rest of the year. this weekend right here that's coming up. Oh my God, it's off the chain. It's off the chain.
Hey,
Telling
something else I want to say real quick. Yeah, Mike, you're right. But what I do want to say is what I notice about this show, beyond everything else, we don't get no Jack A comments, like stupid comments from people. People are actually putting stuff in there. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. Bring them. Keep bringing them, man, because we don't like no clown bro stuff, But I'm so glad y'all on here listening, and I'm glad you guys are giving the questions that you're giving and the intel that you're giving. Because remember, I'm on this end, but I'm really y'all.
Good job.
Right. Hey, so
Definitely.
Jay, I know we have Ohio State playing Notre Dame,
Notre
right?
Dame.
Okay,
I wanna
Felicia
go-
just
hey,
Michigan
Felicia
and
put
Purdue.
the Michigan Purdue game. She's a alumnus of Michigan.
Yeah, Purdue's not bringing nothing there. Come on.
Felicia, put him up. Put him up, Felicia. Put him up.
Don't.
Put him up.
That's
Put him
one
up.
thing I do
I see
respect about
Felicia
Notre
still
Dame.
go out there and she still go out there and cheer with the cheerleaders.
Oh,
I've seen her
wow.
out there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, Christian
her
just
gold and
said
blue
you
on
respect
cheering
what
with
about
them.
Notre Dame?
The fact, well, I mean, they're not in a conference, so they get to pick, they get to make their own schedule. So I do like the fact that they do go head up against some of the best teams in college. I don't be liking how the SEC do it. Alabama, they be playing like teams you ain't never heard of, and I be like, that's not okay. That's not okay. That's not
that's
okay.
why
They
you
got to make it through the SEC.
Yeah,
That's
like
why
I
you
feel
have
like they should. No, I feel, but they only played them. They only played guys in the teams in their conference once, though. I feel like they should change that. I would like to see them play in their conference twice. Because if they win the SEC conference championship, they win their conference, then they'll play whoever else in the SEC championship game. So they play like last year. They beat Georgia, and then they end up playing Georgia again for the championship. They should play Georgia twice, I feel, instead of you out there playing Appalachian State. Like, who are they? You playing these teams like don't nobody know who they are. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah, but the SEC, you have to make it through the SEC. Every week you got a dog that you're playing against.
But I'm gonna tell people that's why you have to respect Notre Dame's gangster, man. Because if you look at their schedule, they play Ohio State, they play Michigan State. Well, they got the Army and the Air Force that they do, but that's been going on for years. But they always play UCLA, USC. They always play top competition, man. And that's you gotta respect Notre Dame's gangster.
That's why I said you gotta respect them. I mean, even though they control their own schedule, they could just load it up with a bunch of teams.
Troy State,
that you
and
never heard
State
of.
and
But they
Montana University.
They play the Big Ten, the SEC, the Pac-12. I mean, they be out here playing teams, and I'd be like, power off to them. Alabama, they get their preseason schedule, and they go play these teams, give them a whole bunch of millions of dollars.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
It's about the money. Like that, you should play in these preseasons. If you like that, all right, go play somebody in the Big Ten or the Big 12 and show you really truly number one instead of going out here playing Rutgers or Howard.
I agree.
They played Howard 1 year. Now
hey, Rutgers is in the Big Ten, by the way.
Rutgers is terrible.
Okay. So since the first game is what, September 11th?
Yeah.
September 11th is the opening.
Yeah.
So
September 11th.
Let's shoot for Sunday. For those who want to get on that show Sunday, let's do the first college show on Sunday. If everybody's game or different people game, we may bring a person in and out, that may not be on this format, that may not be in college football. Let's go and shoot for our first Sunday scouting report where we do a recap of
September 4th.
Saturday's football game
at the college
level, because I see some excitement about it. I see a lot of comments. And it's adding a little bit more spice to the Bears Banter brand. Y'all game for that?
Bernard,
works for me.
Game for that. Before you leave, you got to make sure you mention Costa Rica. Because everybody want to come and see the
Oh,
sun
yeah,
glistening
let me-
off my
hold on, let me-
chocolate body.
Hold on,
Well,
let me
you better
replay
put
that
some
before
dry
we
ice in your
get out of
pocket
here.
because
Here
that
we go.
chocolate will melt out there, won't it?
A little bit, but it's all good.
Here we go.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What? Oh, I'm
There you
sorry.
go.
Hey, for those who actually were not looking at the screen, who were just listening to the program, we ran a commercial for a trip to Costa Rica by Epsilon Beta Foundation and Twin Connection. That would be July 20 to July 24th, 2023. And you could register for that trip by clicking www.twinconnections.com, or you could register by clicking www.epsilonbeta.org. So we about to close. Any last comments before we close out? Oh, we got a nice little hot show tonight. A whole lot of comments.
I'm expecting another winning
Another team. Okay,
Bear
another
down.
comment. Bear down. If that's it for tonight, we'd like to thank everybody who tuned in to Bears Banter tonight, and also hit the subscribe button. We need at least, I think, 350 more people to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to Bears Banter. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Peace.
Don't play it.
That was a great show, man.
Having this delay tonight.
Wait, did
All over your
wait,
chocolate body.
Share Talib's comment, his last comment.